Hey guys, so the newest Nancy Drew game just came out. Mystery of the Seven Keys is the 34th game, and it has been very much anticipated by all of the Nancy Drew fans, and I definitely want to give a good spoiler-free review about it. And just a reminder, I didn't grow up playing the Nancy Drew games. I'm a more recent, newer fan. I've only played a few so far, so my expectations might be a bit different than someone who's been playing them since they were a child. So let's just dig right in. I won't be talking about any specific details. I won't be giving away the culprit or anything about the plot that could ruin it. No spoilers. So first, going into it is the plot. So there is this necklace that is an heirloom, and the jewels or gems have been replaced with fake ones. And you basically try to find out who did it while learning about the culture, language, and history of Prague, and also learning about cyber crime, cyber safety, and alchemy. It is a good plot. It's not really the one that I would prefer, but that's just my own personal preference. I'm sure that other people would really enjoy this type of plot or theme about the game. There are many suspects with the game and the motives. It ties all in together in a way that makes sense, but could have been done a bit better. That's all I'm gonna say. The next is the gameplay with this game. So the UI, I'm not too big of a fan with the UI. I mean, there are some parts about it that I really like, other parts that not so much. So the inventory is it was really small. It was hard to kind of go through it. I know they were trying to keep it out of everyone's way, but it was a little bit too small. Nancy has upgraded her technology to a fold phone. It looks really nice, the way they designed it. Very, very cool. Like the fact that there is like a texting feature in the game. I feel like there was a bit too much texting, not enough calling people. A lot of these contacts were really just not needed, including her dad. Also, why is her dad named Carson in her phone and not Dad? I don't understand that either. She has a new task list that also includes subtasks, and you have to make sure the subtasks are clicked off before clicking off the main task, which it was helpful, but I feel like not needed. As long as you have the main task clicked off, that should be enough. There were many different things in her journal. There's the suspects and the clues and the achievements. And then also being able to take pictures with postcards. The suspects was really great. You get to see their picture and read up on it. Anytime she learns something new, like a new word in Czech, she would go ahead and write that down also. And then any types of clues that she finds out along the way. I think that the clues, I'm not really sure that I like the fact that you have to scroll all the way down to see it. And then also if there's new suspects or new clues. In the old games, it didn't notify you every time. The new game, it notifies you every time there's an update on anything. And a lot of people like myself, I can't go forward in the game until I see what those new updates are. And also the one thing that really bugged me about the new UI is that the menu button is in the upper left corner. It's in the upper left corner. And it was really annoying because some parts I'll be scrolling about and trying to get out of something, and then I'll accidentally click it again and that'll be in the main menu screen. I don't know why the menu screen is up there. And also, I know that a lot of people, including myself, that had an issue with saving, because it's not the saving itself, it's just that you can't save it whenever you want to. During certain moments of the game, like certain puzzle or certain whatever, it doesn't allow you to save the game. Be aware that was a bit annoying for me to deal with. And also with her phone. In the old games, you were able to take pictures whenever, but with this new game, if you were currently reading something, it wouldn't allow you to take a picture of it, which I find really weird because there's a lot of information to read in this game. If it's not there, you can't just take a picture of it and look at it in your gallery later. So it seems to me that the phone camera was just only there just to take pictures of the scenes for an achievement. Also, with the navigation of the game, there's the modern mode and the point and click mode. It was really nice for them to make a point and click navigation, to have the dual navigation with point and click in modern, which is much needed for someone like me because modern mode did make me motion sick after too long. Having the point and click is much more better for me, but the point and click feature you can easily tell that it was added last minute. It was very clunky. A lot of the way that the shots were set up was not very helpful. You had to, like, it was hard to navigate from one place to another because you have to be standing at a certain spot before it allows you to leave the room or to look at something or to talk to someone. And if you're using the point and click mode, you can right click and it allows you to freely look around, and you end up having to use that a lot just to see certain things, because if you just use the point and click feature by itself, there's a lot of things that you will miss, a lot of clues that you'll miss. It's really hard to move around and to find certain clues just using that point and click feature by itself. So a lot of times I had to go back and forth, back and forth. There was a lot of things that were not easily noticeable because the cursor doesn't highlight when you come across something that you're supposed to interact with like it did in the older games. So just be noticeable about that. So it's kind of easy to miss something because it doesn't highlight when you find the right interaction. And also the hotspots are very small. But I do like the fact that the upgrades with this game, that you get to like examine items, it's really cool, but I feel like it's not needed. I mean, other than looking at it and go, wow, this looks really cool. I didn't really see the point of being able to pick up something and examine it in like a 360-degree view. It made reading the newspaper articles a bit frustrating, but I do like the feature of being able to have like an easy read. With adventure games, a lot of games nowadays allow you to be able to look at not just the way the text is in the game, but like in a simple way of looking at the reading, which is really helpful because honestly, I tried to read stuff just the way it is in the game in order to stay in that sort of immersive experience, but there was some old Nancy Drew games where I'm reading this text and it is so cursive and it was like hard for me to read what was even on the text. So having that feature nowadays is actually really helpful for a lot of people, but I do like the fact that was added. Now on to the design of the game, the way that everything was designed. The graphics, the scenery, the location. I think that it is definitely a much needed step up from Midnight in Salem. They did a really good job with designing the place. The place looks very accurate compared to the real Prague, especially from what people who have played the game said. They said it looked very, very accurate and very beautiful, which I agree. It looks very beautiful, very big, and it looks even more beautiful at night than it does during the day. I love the little details of being able to see like birds flying in the sky and things like that. And I do think that some places were designed a bit more in detail and a bit better than others. Like the cafe is really beautiful. The courtyard, I feel like was the most that they spent the time on. Very, very beautiful. The electronics store, I feel like they didn't put as much time into that, and just a few other places as well. So you'll be able to see that once you play the game. The character models, the way that they're designed, I actually think looks pretty okay. It looks, not the best. Could have been better, but definitely good. Definitely good. Nice step up from Midnight in Salem. Great graphics. They don't have to be the best to have a great game. Some character models had certain aspects that look weird. I mean, I think we all agree that the blonde girl's hair looks weird. And I think some of the hand positions were a bit weird. A couple of them had this hand that was like right here in this position and just talking to you with their hand like this. And I also noticed with this game that the characters, when you're around them, they're very still. They don't really do anything. They just stand there and just like look at you. Kind of even a creepy way where if you're like turning that way, they sort of like, like they follow you too, like just follow you wherever you go, and they're just like staying there. In the old game, everyone will always be doing something. They'll be like looking at something, looking at paperwork, whereas in this one, they're just like doing nothing the entire time. Yeah, it kind of breaks the immersion experience a little bit. The NPCs, I think we all are already aware that the NPCs look weird. There's a repeat of them. I'm not sure why they would allow them to do that. It definitely breaks the immersion experience, seeing like 3 people within the same room. What makes it worse is not only is there people there, but with this game, there's no ambient sounds, which I think is so weird. Noise is very important as far as with immersion in a game. And in the old Nancy Drew games, when there was a place with a lot of people, even though they weren't there, you couldn't see them, but you can definitely hear them. Like with the Phantom of Venice, you can hear the people talking in the courtyards there, even though you couldn't see them, and it sounded like a very normal place, and you didn't feel alone because you could hear people. But this one, you can't hear nothing. There was no ambiance noise, no talking, no chit chatter, walking. It's just you and the music. That's it. So I wish they would realize that it's actually very important for games to have all those aspects of it. Next is the characters. So with the characters, it is a lot in this game. There's like 9 or 10 characters, and it was really fun. I appreciate that they added more characters than just 4. And to me, I'm kind of glad that they did add more, because for a good fleshed out mystery, sometimes you need more than just 4 people, other than just the usual suspects. You're meeting the characters and noticing that some are a bit more fleshed out than others. You can kind of tell who the actual real suspects are, rather than those who are just support characters. I think the dialogue was actually pretty good, but it could have been better. It does, to me, feels like the game it takes itself very seriously. One thing I really appreciate about the older Nancy Drew games is how fun the dialogue was, how funny, and there were memorable moments, and just like a really, really fun dialogue. With this game, the dialogue was good, but I found myself getting bored a bit because of how, like, I don't know, I guess it doesn't really does much other than just what it's supposed to do, just giving you the details, but there just isn't anything like super fun or charming about the plot, the things that people say.
I may have to cut this short, Hal. Someone just climbed out of my wardrobe.
Can't you see I'm on the phone here?
No one does anything funny or memorable. There's no fun like type of characteristics about these characters that are all like woohoo, you know? Nothing iconic like Professor Hotchkiss or like Fatima, you know, characters that are like super off the wall. I really love that about the old games. You don't get any of that in this game. Everyone is just very much serious about everything. Even Ned and the Hardy Boys were just a bit more serious than usual, and I wish Bess and George was in this game. We saw the Hardy Boys last game. To be honest, I would have really enjoyed Bess and George talking to him about Prague, and especially if you mentioned something like Radek to Bess, and Bess probably be all like woo, you know, about all that. It would have been great, or even better if they were actually there. I do appreciate the fact that it allows you to skip. That skip function is there still, which is great. And not only that, but it allows you to skip any cutscenes. The voice actors, I feel like, did a great job for the most part. All the characters besides Nancy, I felt like did a good job of portraying their character. With Nancy's, I feel like she did okay. Of course, it was, you know, the second time we've heard her in the game. She didn't sound that great in Midnight in Salem. I feel like she has improved for this game, but she still sounds very wooden, and some of her lines just does not sound natural at all.
I take it she makes a habit of enlisting customers. In that case, I might have a question or two.
I feel like it was the way it's being directed, in that it just doesn't come off as sounding natural or sounding good. I don't think it's because of her not being talented. I think she is talented, but just the way that they're directing her, you know, makes it sound unnatural. And as far as with the characters' accents, I'm not from Prague, so I'm not sure if their accents are accurate or not. Or doesn't really have a good track record of having good, accurate, authentic accents from places abroad. As far as with like multiple dialogue options, it kind of felt very much like a visual script, just going through the dialogue rather than actually giving her like options of what to choose and what to say. So that's what I noticed. I think they did it maybe once or twice at the beginning, but there wasn't any of that in the game. Now with the puzzles, so there was definitely an improvement of puzzles, I can definitely say. There was a lot more puzzles than there was in Midnight in Salem, which is good, but they were really, really difficult, and yeah, and I do like them to be somewhat challenging, but at like a medium level. Puzzles in this game were more like a very high difficulty, challenging puzzles. And I know they wanted to do that just to keep you playing as long as possible, but it was also kind of frustrating. And puzzles shouldn't be frustrating, they should be fun. The problem was that the puzzles were not intuitive. They had a really bad problem of not letting you know what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to solve this puzzle. And I don't know about you guys, but I needed a lot of hints. I needed a lot of hints to get through the puzzle, and even had to go to the guide sometimes because I was just like, I don't even know how to. And I won't give any specifics, so no spoilers, but I do like about 3 of the puzzles in the game which I thought was really fun, and I could totally replay them. But the other ones might be a bit easier to play now that I've already played it and I know how the puzzles work. And the last thing as far as with the music. So the music is very important in a game. It can totally make or break the immersion experience. And the music in this game is very good. It's very good and it's very beautiful to listen to, but it doesn't stand out in any kind of way to me. It sounds slightly generic. A lot of those tunes sound very similar to each other. I noticed that there isn't really any type of like melody that's catchy that you can like, you know, sing along to or hum along to. It sounds okay, but can be very just generic background music. I noticed in the older Nancy Drew games, the songs were very, very unique and they had melodies were just really great and instruments that were on theme with what the game setting and location and plot was about. This one I didn't get that feeling for at all. It's not bad music, it's good music. It's just forgettable music. And I also noticed that when I'm playing the game, it's very repetitive. With this game, like how this was and with the Midnight in Salem, the music doesn't do like it did in the old Nancy Drew games where it's like all the games are like on a shuffle, if that makes sense, no matter where you are. It's not like that. In this game, it's like depending on where you are, there's specific song for that location. And so every time you go to that place, that song will play. And then when you're in that place, that one song will keep looping over and over and over and over again. That is not fun. It is very repetitive and it's nice at first, but then after a while it really starts to get on your nerves, especially when you're trying to like do a puzzle and it's taking you a while with the puzzle and the song is just looping over and over again in the background. You're just like, oh my god. Eventually I just like turned the music all the way down. I had to because it was just getting my nerves. Is it a great game? No. Is it a bad game? No. I think it's like right there in the middle. It's okay. Would I replay it? Actually, would. I think it has a small replay value to it, so I think I may replay it 1 or 2 more times. If you are planning on getting the game, I would definitely wait until it is on sale with Steam to get it. I don't recommend paying it full price. You will be disappointed. I love hearing opinions and reviews and other people's, thoughts about it. So other than that, yeah, let me know what you think.